Hi, I'm Angie. I want to welcome you to National Indoor RV Centers, where we specialize in the sales, storage, service, and detailing of only high-end new and used coaches. So basically, we do it all. Hi, Angie here with National Indoor RV Centers, and today we're going to feature the 2018 beautiful Newmar King Aire. This is the 4531 floor plan. I'm really excited because I was able to custom order a lot of the items in this coach. I'll go through each of those as we walk through the video, and why don't we go ahead and get started. First of all, I want you to notice the beautiful front cap of the King Aire. It has custom paint that NIRVC chose, and we also customized much of the interior as well. Another thing that I love about the front cap of the King Aire is that on the luxury line of Newmar, you don't see the windshield wipers. So that's not just for aesthetics, but if you've ever been driving down the freeway, had a strong crosswind, and had your windshield wipers sheared off, you'll definitely appreciate that they're tucked down behind the front cap here. Also, I want you to notice the windshield of the King Aire. The Newmar has copied the auto industry, and they mount it the same way as your car's windshield is mounted. So it's not like the rest of the RV industry where you have a molded kind of gasket that goes around the windshield. Here we have the chrome convex exterior mirrors that are heated and internally controlled. They also have the signal indicator in them, and your side view camera is in those as well. One of the fun features that Newmar added in their 2018 King Aire is this little bracket here. So this is for your flagpole. So you can either hang your, college favorite team, your family crest, or what I like most would be the NIRVC flag. So fun little feature for 2018. Then we have the tinted dual pane safety glass throughout the coach. We also have several ways to get into the coach. So you have your key fob, your keys. You can select a code so that if you want to let someone, your grandkids get into the coach while you're away, they could do their own special code. You also have a doorbell. That's one of my favorite features. I'm always knocking on customers' doors at NIRVC, wondering if they're in there with a doorbell. I know they hear me. And you also have your Z tablet that will allow people access into the coach as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, and you can do My Rosie app to let someone in the coach as well. Now, one of the great features on the King Aire are the steps. So when these steps come out, you're going to see, first of all, they're going to go almost to the ground. So you're not going to heave yourself up into this coach, which is really nice. Another thing is they have a front sensor and they have a sensor on the bottom. So if you're standing here, I'll show it will hit my leg, it will stop. Or if you're in a campground and there's a curb, it's going to hit that when it touches the bottom and stop. I stand here, just barely touches my leg and it stops. And if I were to do it again, it hit the curb and it stops. So it's a really nice feature, and you're not going to have that extra step like most RVers carry with them. It's a great feature in the luxury line. Now, Newmar is celebrating 50 years of manufacturing coaches. So we're thrilled, we're happy to help them celebrate. They've done some amazing things, been big innovators in the industry, and I can't wait to see what they do in the next 50 years. One of the things that they do best at Newmar is paint. So they use BASF paint, the same paint that you'll see on Lamborghini, BMW, but they start with 2 base coats, then they do 3 coats of the skin, which is this color you see the most of. Then they'll have 2 coats of each accent color, and then they're going to do 4 coats of clear and 5 stages of cut and buff. So if you're going to go ahead and just run your finger down the side of the King Aire, you're not going to feel any transition as you go from one color to another. They just do a fantastic job. Also, I know it may sound silly, but their caulking is really good. If you've ever tried to do it, you know that the craftsmen that do this are very skilled at their job. We also have the flush mounted slides. So there's very little tolerance here. So one of the things when you are taking your slides out, you want to make sure you're at right height, then you put your jacks down. Do the same thing in reverse when you're ready to leave the campground. So jacks up, slides in. The King Aire sits on the Michelin 365 tires in the front, 315s in the back. It has the polish-free aluminum wheels. Now 365 tires, a lot of people will think that means that they're going to get, you know, bigger. They actually just get wider. So you have more tread on the road. It's going to give you a quieter, smoother ride. Then we have our fuel fill. So this is a dual fuel fill, has a 200-gallon fuel tank, and you can fill it from either side. Another great feature, there's a steel welded plate. It's going to protect your fuel line as it goes to the fuel tank. Most other manufacturers do not do this. So it's another safety feature that Newmar has put into their coaches. Here we have our docking lights and our marker lights. Docking lights are great, especially when you're pulling into the campground at night. It's amazing how rocks, picnic tables jump out and grab your coach. So this will give you extra view of what you're backing into when you're coming to a campground. Now we have our exterior entertainment center. So what's a tailgate party without a TV? They've put on a swivel so that we can direct that to where we have the best view for our guests. We also have a little button here that goes from TV. This is with your Bose sound bar, and you can do TV, or you can just turn it to radio or to off. No tailgate would be complete if you don't have shade. So we have the Girard awnings with the Nova pitch, and we have our handy remote control. So you just push of a button. The King Aire comes with the Girard Nova awnings. It's a big deal because the Nova gives you extra pitch and they pitch down. We probably all remember the old awnings where they came straight out, pretty much acted like a wind sail. With the Nova awnings, they're going to come out, pitch down, give you more shade, and they're going to be more stable. We also have LED lighting along the full length of the awning. Girard attaches the slide topper mechanism to the sidewall of the coach, so you're not going to experience that sag that you'll see on a lot of other coaches. It also has a little brush. As the slide topper comes in, it's going to brush off the top of your slide topper. Then I want you to notice how beautiful and sleek the King Aire looks. First of all, we have the beautiful stainless steel trim, but what else is missing? No handles on this coach. So in 2018, they went to push button baggage doors. So you merely just push the button. Voila! So pretty cool. There's no other coach that I know in the industry that has no handles on its baggage doors. So another thing I want you to notice as I go to the first storage area here is how much space you have here. 33 inches in this compartment. Now in 2017, we used to have the option for the power washer here. Newmar went ahead and moved that to the driver's side of the coach, so it gives you this access to this big storage area on the passenger side where you spend more time. Then we have our powered pass-through trays. So merely hit the button, they come out, they go out both ways. And if you've got something heavy on here that you need to take out, you just lift that lip and you can slide it right off. Makes it really easy with heavy items as you're loading, unloading your coach. Our second powered pass-through. And then of course for the tailgate, it wouldn't be a tailgate if we didn't have drinks. Drinks are frozen items, so you just merely take out your refrigerator freezer, you set the temperature, and there are your drinks. Another nice feature about this freezer is that you don't have a slide above you. So even when your slides are out and you're entertaining, you can easily be able to get into your freezer or refrigerator here. Not only do I love not having handles, but I almost like it even better when you go to close your storage compartments. Just swing it shut it hits and then it's a soft close. Normally I talk about the home's foundation when we're outside. So the foundation of the King Aire is the K3 chassis. It's made by Spartan. Spartan is a leader in the industry. They've been making chassis specifically for motorhomes for the last 30 years. That's unique to the industry. Here's our tool storage area. So they've given us nice stainless steel trays here. Put our extra fluids or tools. Nice area, it's LED lit. And then this is one of the storage or compartment doors that doesn't automatically come open because it lifts up. So I lifted that up, and this is where our 16 AGM house batteries are located. These are really nice. They're on a slide out tray so you can access them from either side of the coach. The big deal about them is that you can run your midship AC off batteries. So you have two inverters on the King Aire, and one of them is dedicated to running your midship AC off these batteries. We have our marker and docking lights, and then here I want you to notice the passive steer tag axle. So if you look at this wheel, it looks exactly like your steer wheel. So they're basically both, I like to think of them like belly buttons, innies and outies. You've got two outies. That's your passive steer. It's going to follow your steer axle when you're under 20 miles per hour. It's going to turn in tandem with that. I'm going to give you a tighter turning radius. You might be wondering what this door is here. This is your emergency egress door. So Newmar is all about safety. So they've given you another way to get out of your coach versus going out one of the exit windows. You now have an emergency egress door, no handle on the outside, so it looks kind of seamless, and then I'll demonstrate how it works when we're on the inside. So here we have our DEF, so that's diesel exhaust fluid, and you can fill this from passenger side or driver side. Just a little note, DEF does have an expiration date. So with our more advanced engines and everything, if you're using expired DEF, may throw an engine code. So just something to keep conscious of. If you're RVers that go to a park and stay at it for 6 months, you may not want to fill that all the way, and just, you know, check your expiration date. Here we have our chassis batteries. So they're very easy to get to. Another thing that's great is you've got disconnects for your chassis batteries right here. If we're not lucky enough to have you as one of our storage customers at NIRVC and you are not plugged into 50 amp, when you store your coach, you want to make sure that you have full cutoff there. Here's the power center for the rear half of the coach. So behind this panel, we've got all the fuses that we need and our little codes here as to what those fuses go to. So say you have a rear tail light out, this is where that fuse is going to be. We have the air dryer and the fuel filter, and then a great button. Love this because no more wrestling that engine cover. You just simply hit the switch and voila, there goes the engine door cover. The King Aire sits on the K3 Spartan chassis, 605 horsepower, 4,000 Allison transmission with 950 foot-pounds of torque. Also has a it will tow 20,000 pounds. So what does that mean to you? It means you can tow your Jeep Grand Cherokee or your Chevy Suburban, or you can put them both together on a stacker trailer and you're not going to fill them behind you. Now here we have our engine coolant. You want to make sure that's always orange and that it's always full. We have our engine oil fill here, and then we have our quick connect airline. So most gas stations aren't going to have 120 psi, which is what you need to fill your tires. So in case they don't, this engine acts as its own big air compressor, so you can fill those up from here. We also have the engine oil dipstick, our engine block heater. So on a cold winter morning, you may want to come out here, plug that in. If that's the case, go further south. Then we have our Allison synthetic transmission fluid, our air filter minder. You want to make sure that you always have a clean air filter. You should service your coach at least every year or 12,500 miles. Now Newmar does mounts their air conditioning unit different than any other manufacturer. All the other manufacturers put their air conditioning unit on top of a pan. So the condensation runs into the pan. Well, say it's raining and you've got the condensation and that water runs over, you may have water coming into your coach. Newmar mounts their air conditioning units right on top of the roof. The condensation runs off the roof to the gutters. They have gutters that run all the way along the top of the roof. And then the water runs down through the gutter into the internal gutter here and out the bottom. Now, if you ever happen to see water running down the side of the coach, you'll know that you've got some debris clogging your gutter. So all you have to do is get an air check, go to the internal gutter here, shoot the air up there, dislodge the debris, and your water will continue going down the internal gutters. So you're never going to have those unsightly stains running down the side of your beautiful coach. Spartan is also an innovator in the motorhome industry. So they have three firsts: independent front suspension, the passive steer tag axle, which I showed you a little earlier, and the side radiator. So some of the things that are important about having a side radiator. First of all, if you have a rear radiator, to service your engine, you got to take the radiator out. Secondly, the heat coming off the engine is what is cooling the radiator. So you're pushing like 150-degree heat into your radiator. With the side radiator, you're bringing in ambient air. So today, it's probably about 80 degrees. You're putting that through your radiator versus that hot engine heat and all that debris that's kicked up in there as well. And just to note, it takes 35 horsepower to run your radiator fan. So if it's working not as hard because it's not so hot having to cool, then you're going to have more horsepower for your coach. Here we have the DEF fill on the driver's side of the coach. And behind this locked galvanized door is our little extra compartment where we can store our Stinky Slinky. The exhaust here is for your Oasis on-demand hot water system. Here are the batteries from the driver's side of the coach. And here is our wet bay compartment. So this is really nice. This year they've added the beautiful stainless steel panel here. Just makes it look more high-end like it is. Also, we have our gray tank rinse and our black tank rinse. I've kind of talked about the rinse. Don't think that you're like really rinsing out your tank. You're basically just pushing water through that to help push toilet paper and debris through your gray and black tanks. Here you have your hot low point drain and your cold low point drain. If you're, again, not lucky enough to store with us and you have to winterize your coach, those will come in handy. We have our shower head here, which is nice. Our water filter for the coach. Then we have our Thetford Sanacon system. Got to love the auto water reel hose. Water tap, fresh gray and black tank, pump and fill. And behind this panel here, we have the mana block system. So say that you've got a problem with your shower, you can turn off water just to your shower, leave water going to everything else in your coach. Notice that Newmar has a tub, not just the bottom of the coach. And underneath this tub, there's 1.5 inches of insulation. It's fully insulated, thermostat controlled for heat off whatever the temperature is and the midship heater is set to. There's a thermistor to the right here in the bay, and the heat decks are in the middle of the bay. Here we have our 50-foot, 50-amp shore power cord. If you've ever wrestled these on a cold morning, you're going to love that this is a power reel. So you simply push the button here and it retracts right back into the coach. We also have another button here where we can start the generator. We have our RV power protection, SureGuard protection. And then the King Aire has two 3,000 watt Xantrak inverters. And that's what these are right here. We also have the connector for, most camps have free cable, so you just connect your coax line right here. All right, so I'm gonna put my shore power cord away. One of the things that I like to do to keep everything nice and clean in this compartment is, as I'm taking in the cord, I just hold a rag around the cord here, and so it kind of wipes it off as it goes in. I just like to tuck that in there, and you can see I kept all that dirt from getting into my compartment. Here we have our two passenger trays on the driver's side, and then here is the power washer that I spoke about earlier. So this used to be on the passenger side, now they move it to the driver's side, and reel that out, you can wash the entire coach. Notice another one of our cameras and our security light. And again, we have our docking lights, marker lights, and the fuel fill for the driver's side of the tank with little tether. It's always nice, so you don't end up leaving your fuel cap at the gas station. Here we have the power center for the front part of the coach. So behind this panel here, just like I showed you in the back, you have all your fuses for the front of the coach, your lights, the chairs, powered chairs inside the coach. Those fuses are going to be right here. It's nicely displayed. In 2018, Newmar did a great little thing. It's so simple, but it's just very nice. They give you spare fuses. So no longer are they going to be banging around inside your drawer in a baggie. Right here if you need those fuses. And then we have our generator hydraulic slide, the HWH slide. So as long as your coach is in the accessory mode, you can just hit this button here. Here you extend the front cap. Note that this is the exhaust for the generator. Make sure that doesn't touch your leg, especially if it's hot. Great feature, Newmar, the whole front cap comes out. So you can easily get in here to service your generator. This is the Onan 12,500 watt generator. If you happen to trip a breaker, which I'm not sure how you're going to do that with this big generator, you would have to flip this switch right here. It also, you can also start and stop the generator from here. Here we have our wussy horn, and then over to the side here I've got my big air horn. You want to make sure you always have that on. You want them to know you're coming. Then we have our emergency suspension fill and our windshield wiper fluid, our fuel oil filter for our Oasis, and we have the quick connect air line if you need to fill anything up front. On the King Aire, you have your HWH hydraulic steps, driver's side slide, and levelers. All this takes place right here. Now to my favorite part of the coach, the interior. So here we have the beautiful Villa Ultra Leather seats. This is the Cardiff interior, but like I told you earlier, we made some custom changes to this. So I think we made it really beautiful, but these seats are really comfortable. First of all, you're gonna be able to use them like a recliner. And then you can push them back. You've also got the optional power massager. So you can just turn that on. You've got 3 different zones, zone 1, 2, 3, and then you can select pulse, wave, zigzag, and increase the intensity and the speed. So this might be the favorite chair in the whole house. One of the options with the 4531 is that you can have sofa and sofa, or you can do the 2 recliners. Now, the 2 recliners have been very popular. When I do the 2 recliners, I always do a fold and tumble across from them. And in the King Aire, the fold and tumble, or the hide-a-bed, first of all, it has powered footrest. So again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats here that all have a footrest or that they recline. I wanted to show you the fold and tumble bed. So this merely just folds out. Now we've got our air mattress here. So I would just unbuckle this. And inside the middle of the air mattress, we have the power blower upper thing. So you just plug that into your outlet right there, and you're gonna have a nice, comfortable air mattress for your guests to sleep on. We also have the beautiful tile floor that looks like wood. Another added feature that they gave us in 2018 is here we are sitting in our recliners and we want to watch TV. The button for the televator used to be on the other side of the room. Now I just simply push the button here and voila, there comes the 49-inch 4K Sony TV. We have the Sony sound bar throughout the coach, and we have lots of nice storage. You're gonna notice this bar here. People are always wondering what that is. That's a header, just like you would have if you were building a house. It adds to the great structure and stability of the King Aire. This is where our DVD player is and all of our electronics. This is where we put our receiver. Again, more storage. And you'll notice on the driver's side of the coach, I didn't put any cabinets above. I wanted to leave these nice big windows so it looks more like a bus-like appearance. Very elegant. And then we went with the booth dinette. You can choose to have a combination desk dinette. There's lots of options, but I think this is nice. It also extends. And we have 2 leaves and we have extra chairs that I can show you as well. Here with the table extended and the extra chairs, you can see that I can easily get 6 people at this booth. You know there's the rule, drink 6, feed 4, sleeps 2. Well, I can actually feed 6 if I wanted to. We have the beautiful solid surface countertop. And again, we have a header that runs all the way along the length of this full wall slide. There's 258 pieces of wood in the King Aire, and they're handcrafted, hand sanded, and hand glazed. They call this unitized construction. So as you put your hand across these beautiful cabinets, you're never going to see where 2 pieces of wood come together. It's totally seamless. Moving on into our kitchen, beautiful solid surface, high polished countertops. And in the 4531, you can also get the extendable countertop here. We didn't have it in this floor plan, but you can add that. And then you've got the nice full extension drawers. And in the King Aire, one of my favorite features is the soft touch close. We have cutting boards on the back side of our recessed induction cooktop. And then of course we can take our cooktop out if we want to cook onions or bacon or fish, something that might be a little messy or stink up the coach. I may want to take those outside and cook, and you just merely unplug that and take it outside. And then another great feature that we have in the King Aire is the beautiful, huge farm sink. So stainless steel sink. You can wash your furry friends in there, or your babies, or lots of dishes. So it's really nice. And we have the touch faucet, residential faucets, and again, great amount of storage. Nice pull-out shelves so that we can get to the very back of our shelves because they're nice and deep. We have the convection microwave oven, and that's the Advantium 120. And we have the Fisher Paykel dishwasher. And again, Newmar gives us a great drawer. We've got all our remotes in here, more remotes than I ever want to see. And you can use this for silverware, utensils, whatever. And in our kitchen, they've given us a garbage can that pulls out this year that has a little cover on it, so that's nice. Keep everything where it should be, and another pull-out shelf. And a couple cubbies here. Again, it's not a lot of space, but I'm gonna find something that will go in there that fits just perfectly. Another cabinet there. Notice that they're all lit. And before we leave the kitchen, I want to make sure that you know that both of your dinette seats here, booth seats, pull out, and you have storage underneath those as well. Then as we move into the kitchen, we've got the residential Whirlpool refrigerator. This has a lock on it. That's why I couldn't open it. So just move that. You've got a nice big residential refrigerator. and freezer with ice maker. All right, have you ever been at a truck repair center, not at National Indoor RV Centers, and you don't think that your coach has been plugged in all the time? You're worried that your frozen foods have unthawed and been refrozen? I'm gonna give you a little trick of something you can do. First of all, just freeze an 8-ounce cup of water and put a quarter on top. Leave that in your freezer. When you leave your coach, if you come back, if that quarter is halfway down into that cup of frozen water, that means that the coach was unplugged, the freezer was not on, that food unthawed and then was refrozen. It's not safe to eat. Just a little tidbit, keep you safe. Now at National Indoor RV Centers, you're always going to be plugged into 50 amp service and your refrigerator and freezer will always be on. And in this floor plan, you get a huge pantry. It's lit, full extension drawers, plenty of height. These shelves are all adjustable, so you can put your cereal boxes, oatmeal, or large appliances in here. And then last but not least, we have our half bath. Really nice size. You'll notice at the bottom here, we have the dustpan. So all you have to do is just kick that with, sweep everything into your bathroom, kick the little dustpan, it will suck all the debris away. Or you've got the hookup for your central vac so that you can vacuum the whole coach. We have the medicine cabinet here. Again, nice big window in here. And we have our breaker boxes. And one of the things that Newmar did this year, they gave us extra fuses. So we have spare fuses right where you need them. They're not loose in a baggie or, looking in a drawer somewhere. And then over here on the side panel, it's labeled all the fuses and what they go to. So they make it really easy. Newmar does a true flow air system. So your AC is all down the center of your coach. And these the ceiling treatment just pulls down. You can change your filters really easily. But the main thing that's really cool about that is that when you go into other coaches, you're going to look down their ceiling, you're going to see vents lining the ceiling. Everything with Newmar, their AC and their return is under these beautiful ceiling treatments. So not only is it efficient, but when you have your slides in, your AC is totally exposed. So you're going to be able to cool your coach faster and easier and more quiet. Also, people ask me a lot of time, what's the best way to heat the coach? You've got 3 AC units with heat pumps. Those heat pumps are good to 40 degrees. Once it goes below 40 degrees, you're going to turn on your Oasis, which is your furnace, and that's what will provide that extra heat. Right underneath the tile, we have 4 to 5 inch square electric heat mats with copper wire running through them. It heats the floor instantly, and if there's ever a problem, we can find the mat that's bad and take up just the tile above the mat to replace just that mat. With radiant heated floors by hot water running through them, you have hot and cold spots. It takes longer to heat up, and it's more difficult to diagnose and repair a problem. Also, you have to run your aqua hot if you're doing heating your floor that way, which is using your diesel. So the electric heat is much more efficient. Newmar is the only manufacturer that provides this huge emergency exit window right here in the living room. So if we had a problem with our refrigerator, everyone else you're going to have to go through the front windshield or take off the door, disassemble the refrigerator to get it out the door. You could take that right here through the window. A great feature. This is one of your 4 thermistors in the coach. So this works in conjunction with your thermostat. You have a thermistor here in the living room, one in the hallway, one in the master bedroom, and one in the master bath. So basically what they do is they monitor the temperature, report back to the silver leaf where you've got your thermostat set, and keep the temperature consistent throughout the coach. Here's your motion sensor button, and you can have that on or off so that when you get up at night, as you're walking through the coach, if you're heading to the bathroom, or if you're coming out into the living room, you're going to have a nice little lighting, floor lighting, that will turn on as you walk past it. If you don't want that to happen, if you don't want the lights to come on, you can just turn the motion sensor off. Also, you're going to notice that you've got the multiplex lighting system here, so you can control your ceiling lights, dinette lights, wall lights, overhead lights, accent lights, all that's controlled here. and you'll have another panel that will control your day and night shades. So that's all just at a push of the button, or you can do it from your Z tablet or NIRVC app. Welcome to the beautiful master bedroom. What I want you to notice first when you come into the master bedroom is this beautiful bedding. So one of the things with the King Aire, the fabrics and the bedding, the pillows, everything is exclusive to Ralph Lauren. So you can't use this in any of the other lines. So it's really beautiful. They have the goose down comforter, and you have this sleep number bed. Also, you're gonna have all this storage underneath your bed. You can put your extra chairs there, or whatever you need to store. On each side of the bed, you're gonna have 110 outlets and the USB outlet, and you'll see the little blue dot on the countertop there. That's where you can charge your smartphone. So you've got those on both sides of the nightstand and at the dash. Another feature for the King Aire is that they put a window behind your bed. So you just open that up. You have a blackout shade here that you can pull down, and then you have privacy as well. You also have controls underneath your bed. You can start and stop your generator from the bed, your lighting, security lighting, and your shades can all be controlled there. So you move around to the storage side of the bedroom. We've got nice storage here, our DVD player. Another thing I want you to notice is they use the dovetail construction on all their drawers in the King Aire, and we have the soft close door. So that's really nice. Here's your slide out control for the bedroom slide. And then we've got our other command panel here. Also, I wanted to note that I mentioned that we have the Z tablet and the NIRVC app. As long as your coach is connected to Wi-Fi, you can let someone in your coach, open the door, turn on the lights, check the temperature from Florida, and it can be in Texas. So that's just one of the cool things that you can do with the NIRVC app. Again, you've got your lighting control here, motion sensor panel, more storage, nice deep drawers. Again, soft close. Falling. More compartments, tons of storage, your Bose soundbar, and you have another 49-inch Sony TV here. More storage with nice pull-out drawers. Moving into the master bathroom, we have our Whirlpool washer and dryer. This is a 220 dryer, so it's just like the dryer that you have at your home. Really nice. And then we have this huge shower. Nice and big. You've got the shower seat if you need it. If you want to shave your legs, you've got a little toe kick plate here as well. Then you have your rain shower head, and then you also have the wand. You've got jets here and jets there, and then you also have just a faucet here at the bottom if you just want to wash your feet. Placed it for your shampoos and everything. It's really nice and roomy. I've got my heels on. There's still plenty of room in here. This is the Havana Rift cabinetry. Forgot to mention that earlier, but isn't it beautiful? And then we have our nice medicine cabinet here. We have a 110 outlet in there, so you can leave your curling iron plugged in and just tuck it away. And then we have these beautiful vessel sinks and the beautiful faucets. Just love what they've done in the King Aire. And again, nice full extension drawers with the soft close. And again, tons of storage space. And then onto our master closet. Notice that the lights come on when I open the door. We've got shelving here for storage, shoe storage there, our safe. And then I've got the double hanging area here. All right, here obviously we have our nice Dometic toilet, and then we have the emergency egress door. This is awesome. Now last year they gave us the emergency egress door, but we had to basically, jump from here, which is quite a ways. So this year they were nice enough to give us this removable panel here. So that just magnetizes on. Just take it right off. Just take off the Velcro strap here, and you just flip the ladder down, and it telescopes down. So it's super easy to get in and out. Another thing that I like about this location is if you're loading or unloading the coach, you can have your loved one handing you the supplies, you know, your clothes. You can throw them in the closet here or fill up the bathroom stuff without having to walk the length of the coach. Just another use for it. And you can obviously air out the coach really easily here as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take in the driver's side slide, the full wall slide, which is on the HWH system. So I'm gonna bring that in. You always wanna make sure that you're gonna clear your captain's chair, that the slide's not gonna hit that. And then I want you to notice that there's rollers on the bottom of that slide. They're not actually on your tile floor. They're about 1/8 of an inch above it, and they're gonna provide support for that tile floor when the slide is in. Okay, now I'm gonna bring in the passenger side slide. Now again, the driver's side slide, that full wall slide, is the HWH hydraulic slide. The passenger slide is electric. So it's gonna come in nice and slow. And each time that cogwheel turns on the slide, it's 1 rotation equals 1 foot. Again, you wanna make sure that your passenger chair has cleared. Comes in, you'll see the locks up above that lock the slide in place. So this is how I'm going to be traveling if I'm not the driver. So I'm going to be sitting in my nice reclining chair here, kick my feet up, watch a movie, or read my favorite book. You can also hop up. You can easily get through your coach. I could sit in the dinette. It's super comfortable. Or I could be cooking something here at the kitchen, the sink. I can get whatever I need out of my refrigerator. Pantry, I'm going to be able to almost fully extend. I can fully extend those pantry doors. And then of course my favorite part here is our little door handle. That's not going to catch my jeans when I'm walking through the coach. So easy access into the half bath. I wanted to make sure that you knew that when your slides are in, you have to roll over your bed to get to this rear bathroom if you want to use it, but you have the full space available to you. None of the slides, you know, don't affect this rear bath at all. So just want to let you know that you've got this full bath if you're willing to roll over the bed. You've always got the half bath you can use, but this is another option as well. Now here's some storage compartments. They're not very big. I know I'll find something to go in them for sure, but Newmar, it's one of the great things that they do. They're constantly, if there's a space that they can give you storage, they give you storage. Most manufacturers are just gonna put a valance up here and they're not gonna give you that storage. So you've got one storage compartment here, another there, and one more here. It's really nice. Now this is probably the most important cabinet in the whole coach. So we have basically the command center of the coach here. I'll walk you through this. So this is our Winegard Traveler satellite control, our power here. So that's for your HD open phase satellite, so you can get HD signal. We also have the in motion satellite on this coach as well. We've got a satellite system button right here. This coach, it's prepped for solar, so if you want to add solar panels in the future, the wiring and everything is already there for you. This is our Girard awning control panel. This is our Winegard over-the-air antenna. So basically, you're just going to turn that on. It's going to start searching and lock on to local stations for you. We have our security sensors here, our driver's security lights, passenger security lights, so those are external lights on both sides of the coach. Driver privacy drape, front privacy drape, the door privacy drape, passenger privacy drape, driver side window awning, and passenger side window awning. So those are the awnings on the outside of the coach. Again, those are powered. So no more do you have to get out your little metal pole and pull the awning out and hook it in. All powered. Then we have our driver side slide out control, passenger side slide out control, exterior LED lights, and then our exterior entry step. So once you're at a campground, you don't want your steps to go in and out every time you open up your door. That's just gonna be extra wear and tear on your motor. So you just turn that off, they'll stay out. And when you start driving, when you release the parking brake, whether that is locked in the out position or in, it's gonna bring the steps in for you. Here we have our Omniscope port. Technicians can diagnose the Silverleaf system right from here. So if you have a generator that's coming on in the middle of the night, it's not supposed to, they can hook in and figure out what's going on, why that's happening. Now here's our control panel. We're gonna have this control panel at the front of the coach in your master bedroom. You're also gonna have it on your Z tablet, and you can download an app to the My Rosie app to your cell phone, so you can control it from all those locations. Here's our Silverleaf panel. Now there's a lot of information on this screen. I hope I won't bore you, but before we start, let's talk a little bit about our electricity for the coach. So we always hear the term 50 amp service. That's really an RVer's term. If I were to bring an electrician in here, he would look at me and he would say, you have one leg that's bringing in 50 amp and two leg with 50 amp. So that's 100 amp of service coming into the coach. So when you're plugged into 50 amp service, you're really bringing 100 amps of power into the coach. Or if you've got your generator on, like I do right now, we have 100 amps of power coming into the coach. Plenty of power to run all the functions in your coach. All right, now let's talk a little bit about inverters. So the King Aire has two 3,000 watt inverters. And what does an inverter do? It has three functions. It converts AC to DC and DC to AC, and then it charges your battery and passes current through. So when power comes into the coach, it goes down into the basement. That's where your inverters are. Through the inverters, comes up to the Silverleaf panel and charges the batteries as necessary. Now at National Indoor RV Centers, we make sure our coaches, first of all, our storage coaches are always plugged into 50 amp service. But one of the things the porters are instructed to do is to make sure those inverters are on so that they're charging the batteries. What will happen if you have those inverters off, you'll come into your coach after being away, you'll have power, but you can't operate your TV, different things won't work because you've got to convert that energy from AC to DC, DC to AC. Then we have our gen set, so we can start and stop our generator from here. We also have auto gen start on the King Aire. So what that does is it will detect when your batteries are running too low. It will automatically start to charge the batteries. So it will run for 3 hours. It will check to see if the batteries are charged. If they're not fully charged at that point, it will run another 3 hours. If they're not charged after 6 hours of running the generator, it will shut it off because they'll know that there's a problem. We also have our water and our fresh, gray, and black tank levels. So those are digital, gives you much more accurate reading. And then climate, so you can control the AC and heat for your living room, kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom. You can set a day and a night and away temperature. And then we also have our floor. So in the King Aire, you have in-floor heat. It's electric floor heat. And you have 3 different zones, your front, rear, and mid. And in 2018, they added the in-floor heat in the slide room for your master bedroom. So when you get up in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, you're in an area that's cold, you're not gonna freeze when you step on that floor. It's really nice. We have our special features here. And then we have our gen set, our autofill, our pump, auto gen, block heater, locks, keypad, camera, and then dim button. Everyone's gonna like this. So you've got a panel in your master bedroom that's gonna keep you up at night if it's fully lit. So you just keep hitting that, basically disappears. When you want it to come back up, just hit that button and it's not gonna keep you up at night. One more thing I want you to pay close attention to is your house battery and your chassis battery. When there's that little lightning bolt there, that means that you have a charging bridge. So if you come into your coach and those 2 numbers, make sure your inverters are on, give them about 5 minutes to get accurate reading here. But if those 2 numbers aren't 2 tenths within range of each other, then you probably have some kind of a charging problem. Notice the 43-inch Sony 4K TV. And then we have another great little storage compartment here. And here, WineGuard Cellular can be used as the Wi-Fi booster, and if you subscribe to the service, you can use it as a hotspot for your coach, and you can use up to 4 to 5 devices on it at a time. One of the things I love about the King Aire is when you walk in, you've got these great assist handles, grab bars. So it's another safety feature. Going in and out of the coach, you're not going to worry about falling, catching yourself. You've got these great grab bars. Then we also have the battery disconnect right when we enter the coach. So that's very easy, entering or exiting, turn your batteries on or off. We have the cargo bay doors that you can lock and unlock right from here. And we have the step well lighter. So as you walk into the coach, go ahead and flip that on so you can easily see as you're coming into the coach. Now here at the passenger chair, we're in the beautiful Villa seats that are cooled and heated, and they have controls, so forward, backwards, they tilt up and back, and then of course you can go back or recline, and you've got your footrest when you're going down the road. Get very comfortable. I also love that we have the little workstation here. So as I'm going down the road, usually have my laptop or my iPad out here, and that's a nice little workstation, spot for my drink. King Aire also has the navigation system, so I can go ahead as the passenger, put in our route, put in the address, and I can navigate right here from my own screen. Also can control the radio as well, and look at different cameras here. Down to the side, I have the patio light button. We have the step cover, which is nice that it's right here for the passenger to control. Now, I always refer to the double sinks as the marriage saver, but really, I think personally this might be the bigger. I'm always cold, he's always hot, so I love that I have my own controls for my heating and air conditioning. Here we are in the cockpit, and I'm going to go over the leveling systems. We have two. We have the Hadley air leveling system and the HWH computerized hydraulic leveling system. I'm going to use the Hadley air leveling system when I'm just staying overnight. So maybe when I'm not quite at my destination and I don't want to put my jacks down. So I just go ahead and do searching level surface. I'm going to get arrows letting me know that I need to level both vertically and horizontally. If I get a yellow or orange arrow, that means that it's most likely it won't level. Once I am level, I want to turn off the engine so that it will close the valve and I will stay at that height. If I need to get to standard ride height, I just go ahead and press that button. That will get me to standard ride height. Now, a lot of times I may be driving along, I need to get to a gas station, but I feel like I may drag the front or back end of my coach, and I don't want that to happen. So I can go ahead and I can push the raise button there, and I can raise my coach, or say that I need to lower my coach to get into my garage. I can lower the coach as well. So I can raise it about 3 inches, lower it about 4 inches, so I have a 7-inch swing. Now, if I'm in a campground and I'm going to be there for a week, I'm going to go ahead and put my jacks down. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my HWH computerized hydraulic leveling system. And I'm going to go ahead, and we're in travel mode right now. I am going to put it into auto level. It's showing that 2 lights. Once I have all 4 lights lit, it will mean that I am level. Now, if the excessive slope light comes on, that means it's most likely it won't be able to level. Here's the Allison transmission. So you've got R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive. Here's our tag dump. Now, with the passive steer tag axle, you really don't need to use this. This is going to be an auto all the time, because you're not going to have to do that when you make a sharp turn. It's going to do that automatically for you. The only time that you might want to disable this is if you're, say, stuck in mud, you need more traction. You're going to want to dump the tag so you have more weight on your drive axle. So you're going to dump the tag and you may use this in conjunction with the auto traction control override as well. Here we have our engine brake. I'm going to always have that on, and I'm going to always have it on high. With a coach this heavy, if you have your engine brake on high, you're going to have 605 horsepower pulling you back when you put your brakes on, just like you've got 605 horsepower pushing you forward. I want as much power pulling me back when I need to stop. This is just a sensor for your mobile eye, for your lane departure detection, your lights, bright and dim, fog lights. This is your dome light, so just over the driver right there. Then we have the control for our exterior mirrors. Obviously, here's our parking brake. One of the things that's really nice, when I go ahead and release that when I'm ready to leave, it's going to automatically bring in the steps, even if I've extended the steps and powered them to stay out. It will bring them in and it will lock all my cargo bay doors. Here we have the button for the powered tow window. So this is a high-end window that's really easy to use. We have our air horn button. We want to make sure that's always on. We want to make sure they know that we're coming. And our battery boost. So battery boost, say worst case scenario, you come back to your coach and the batteries are dead. You want to hold your battery boost down so you can combine any charge left in your house batteries with any charge left in your chassis batteries, so that you can get enough power to start your generator. Once you've run your generator for just a little bit, you'll have enough power that you can then start your inverters and then charge your batteries. This button gives you a lot of information. So here we can have just the basic information, you know, speed, fuel, temperature, miles per gallon. Then you can press it and get more and more information. Also gives you trip information, diagnostics. It's programmable. And then you can see the camera, also get more information.
Go back to the camera real quick.
Camera. Then you can go to information, and then you can scroll through. Here gives your tire pressure monitoring system. It's going to monitor the tires on the coach, and you can hook it up so that it will monitor the tire pressure on your tow vehicle. Here you can scroll through each item and then press a button so you can decide if you want to stop your generator. Here's another spot to start or stop your generator. Here we have our front fan, overhead fan, and you can have that on high, medium, or low. Our docking lights, courtesy lights, again another place to start our generator, and our entry lock. Then we have our AC and heat controls, and we have our driver's side visor, our front visor, front shade, and passenger's visor. Then we have these nice drawers, nice and sturdy. One of the amazing features about the King Aire is obviously the digital dash, and then these two 10-inch monitors. So you can control your radio, media center, Sirius, Bluetooth, HDMI, auxiliary, camera control, iPod, your nav system set up. So let's go to navigation. We can enter the information here, or we can do that from the passenger side navigation. Our camera, we have an amazing camera system on the King Aire, so we can pick which view we want to have. The hitch view, you have 3 options. And my favorite view personally is the 360 camera, so I can see what's going around all the way around my coach, bird's eye view. Here we have our charging pad, so we can just lay your smartphone right up there. It's going to charge it, and we have 2 more back in the master bedroom on each nightstand. Another feature of the beautiful dash is the fact that this actually just velcros down, Doesn't look like it, but that gives it makes it very serviceable if there's something that you need to fix there, and also here as well. But once it's down and secure, you would never know that you could do that. Newmar is committed to service after the sale. So you have every coach has a picture of their Newmar customer brand specialist. You can call this number 24/7. All right, you have the controls to move your steering column up and down here, and then telescope, back, and then also the control for your pedals, forward and back. And then like I told you, you can do the memory setting. We also have our courtesy lights here. So you're gonna go ahead, if you're driving down the freeway and a trucker passes you, you wanna let him know that it's safe to come into the lane. You're gonna flash that light one time, then he'll know it's safe to come over. If I am passing a trucker, he may flash his lights, let me know that it's safe to come over, then I'm gonna hit my lights here 3 times to say thank you. Here's our cruise control. So you just turn it on, set, resume, and cancel. We also have our windshield wipers. So you have obviously on and high and low, but these are intermittent as well. So you can go ahead and press your windshield wiper, count 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. Hit it again. Now count 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. So you can set what interval you'd like them to go at. Another thing I love about the King Aire is the fact that your day shade and your night shade are in a track. So as they go down, they're going to stay in that track and they're not going to fall all over the front dash. Between storage and inventory, we usually have at least 450 coaches at the dealership. And I'm not going to say I've ever done it. Okay, yes I have. One of the things that you don't want to do is pull away while you're still connected to shore power. So if you were going to do this in the King Aire, it actually gives you an alert, audible and visual, to make sure you don't make that mistake. All right, we're going to have just a little quick driving lesson before we take off here today. So you want to establish where your turning point is. In a car, the turning point is in the front. Your wheels are in front of you. In a coach, your wheels are behind you. So the turning point is the center of this axle right here, which on the passenger side, that's your valance on the inside. And on the driver's side, it's the front of the slide. So you don't start your turn until the center of the axle is at the turn. If you do that, the back end will follow and you're not going to go over the curb. If you know me, you know that I'm always in a hurry. You can just ask my husband if you don't believe me. So I'm here, I want to get ready. We're not at ride height, so I'm going to go to fast idle. So I've got the engine on. I'm just going to go ahead and put my cruise control on and then hit the set. And you'll hear the RPMs go up, the engine kind of revs, and that's going to air up my coach quicker. So I'll be in high idle mode. So we're ready to go now. I'm going to put my coach into drive and release the parking brake. You'll also hear the steps come in, and it automatically locks the baggage doors at the same time, so I don't have to worry about those coming open while we're traveling down the road. I'm going to go ahead and set my comfort drive at like 5. That's what I like to do when I'm going down the freeway. And again, I'm going to wait until my front axle is at the center, at the balance, before I make my turn. All right, now when you're on the road, you want to make sure you're always hugging the left lane. Everything bad happens on your right. Street signs, road debris, cars that are pulled off to the side of the shoulder, so you always just hug the left lane. If I heard it once, I heard it 100 times when I was first learning. One of the things that I love about the King Aire is this 360 camera. So you have several views that you can choose from, but I really like to have the rear view camera, and then I like to have my 360 camera. That way I know what's around my coach at all times, in front, side to side, and in the back. You're just gonna find your space in the lane. You can watch the bottom mirrors on each side of the coach and see that you're easily in your lane. I think that's what's scary to people. Most of the time when they first start driving, we feel like we're too big for our lane. We absolutely fit in the lane, and you can just watch your mirrors and easily see that you're staying in your lane. Right now, I'm driving with my engine brake on high. I like to keep it on high. That way, when I'm going forward, if I have to come to a quick stop, I have 605 horsepower pushing me back when I apply the brake. So that gives you some peace of mind and a little extra help when you've got this much weight that you're trying to stop. Another great feature of the King Aire is the electronic stability control. So if it senses that the coach is out of balance, if you are swerving to miss a deer or a car that cuts in front of you really fast, it senses that you're not stable, it's going to take away the accelerator and apply the appropriate brake. I've got my cruise control set at 66. I'm not putting my foot on the brake, and it slowed me down to 57 because I've got a lot of traffic around me. Now that the cars are moving out in front of me, it will go back to that speed. Another great feature on the King Aire is the fact that it has the mobile eye and the lane departure alert. So if I start to change lanes like I'm doing right now without turning on my blinker, my seat's vibrating and I have an audible alert that I could hear. I set my comfort drive to 5. This is what I'm comfortable at. I like a little firmer feeling steering wheel. You can turn it down. We've got a nice little crosswind today. What comfort drive does is that it detects that crosswind and then it adjusts for it. So I'm never gonna be fighting my steering wheel. I'm literally just holding it in place. I could do it with one hand. I'm more comfortable having both hands on the wheel, but very, very easy. It makes it just very easy to drive. Also, if you have a camber to your road, again, you'd be fighting that angle. You're not gonna do that with comfort drive. It's gonna fill that, adjust for you, and you're just gonna head down the road. Very, very easy and makes this a delight to drive. My customers that have come from another manufacturer to Newmar with comfort drive, they tell me they can drive a lot longer with a lot less fatigue in their shoulders and back because they're literally just keeping the coach in its lane, but they're not fighting to do so. Here we are on the side of the frontage road, and the decibel reading is 85.4. We're in the same location. I've just stepped inside the coach, and you can see we're at 73.2 decibels, which is the equivalent to average inside car decibels. So now I'm still on a freeway, and I'm going about 50 miles per hour. I've got the dash AC on, 3 AC units, the generator, and obviously the engine running, and we're at 76.6 decibels. I hope you've enjoyed this walk around on the 2018 Newmar King Aire Floor Plan 4531 as much as I have enjoyed showing it to you. Thanks for your time, and if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please feel free to email us. If you enjoyed this video and like to see more just like it, hit the like and subscribe button.